Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Wilhelm. I, of course, am your host, Ben Beck. I say, of course, like, that sounds so pretentious for me to say it in that way. But I am the only host of this podcast, along with the slew of my special guest hosts that I bring on constantly. That if you guys want to be one, I'm more than open to it. All you got to do is just let me know. Contact me via Facebook or the website. Facebook.com/Wilhelm Podcast, WilhelmPodcast.com, or just email me directly. Feedback@WilhelmPodcast.com. Easiest way to do it. I usually do that for the post credit, but because this is a spotlight session, it's going to be a shorter episode, so no post credit for this one. So that being said, this is the first official Wilhelm Spotlight of 2024, even though this is a conversation from last year. This is a conversation from 2023, and I'm incredibly excited to bring this one to you guys. This is one I've been holding for a little bit now, and I was incredibly honored because of this one. This is a panel that I did from FanExpo Philadelphia last year, here in my hometown of Philadelphia, last year, 2023, and it is with the legendary, the incomparable Peter Cullen. So, if you don't know who Peter Cullen was and still is the epic voice of Optimus Prime from the Transformers movies, Transformers cartoon, everything that you've seen of Optimus Prime. He has done most of it. And this was such an honor for me to share the stage with this man because he is a legend in the voiceover world, a legend in the voice acting world, and just a legendary person to begin with. He has such a presence to him that it was so... I was in awe of just being on stage with him. This is a one-on-one conversation I had with him in front of a live audience at FanExpo Philadelphia. And I'm so happy to bring this one to you guys finally. I've been sitting on it for a little bit of time, but I figured none better to start the year off than with this one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Peter Cullen, again, just an amazing, legendary person. So I'm incredibly happy to bring this conversation to you guys in the form of a Wilhelm Spotlight. Before I bring you the conversation, however, I do want to mention real quick that the Patreon is coming, should be launching within the next week or two officially. And again, as I've mentioned before on previous episodes, this is not to make money or to get rich. This is simply to offset, some costs that it costs me to keep this podcast going, to keep the lights on here at Wilhelm Studios, and, offer you guys some cool stuff at the same time. I have a bunch of shows that I'm going to be doing this year, of course, kicking it all off with FanExpo Philadelphia again, 2024. Don't know who I'm going to be on stage with yet, but I'm incredibly excited to kick off the year of con season. Followed by that, I've got Anime Con going up to Rhode Island for that. I've got Colorado Springs Comic Con, Contropolis, New Jersey, TerraCon, and of course, ending the year once again at the epic Rhode Island Comic Con. I can't wait to work with all the great people at Altered Reality again. I'm so looking forward to it. There's going to be so many more opportunities for me to share the stage with some pretty incredible people. Next episode of Wilhelm after this is going to be the top 5 favorite baseball films. We are in spring training right now, so what better time than to do that? And that was with my new friend Alex Kruger came on for that. Again, be sure to reach out if you have anything you want to say to me, whether it's you want to be a guest, you have ideas for the podcast, or you just want to leave some feedback for anything. Easiest ways to do that, go to WilhelmPodcast.com. There are links there for everything. Or you can email me directly, feedback@WilhelmPodcast.com. There's so much on the horizon for Wilhelm, including hopefully another live podcast at FanExpo, and maybe some of the Altered Reality shows. We don't know. It's still in the works. There's still a lot of stuff in some awesome flux going on with those guys, and I can't wait to see what 2024 brings for live shows for the podcast. But again, I digress. I'm talking way too much. You guys are here for the interview. You're here for the conversation. So without further ado, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast in whatever way it is, whether it's just listening, leaving feedback, or hopefully soon the Patreon. But here it is, my panel from last year, FanExpo Philadelphia 2023, with the legendary Peter Cullen. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one, the only, Peter Cullen.
Thank you. Wow. When I came around that corner, I only saw 3 people. And I said, where'd everybody go? Anyway, thanks for being here.
I mean, you had to know there was going to be more than 3 people in this room for you. I mean, you are so beloved from the communities everywhere around. I've been moderating for 5-6 years, if not longer, and I'm even kind of in
You
all
must be very
right now.
tired.
It hasn't been straight 4 or 5 years.
Do you eat a little bit?
Very rarely when I work these events, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I've been here all morning and I haven't eaten yet. But yeah, I'm in a little bit of an awe being able to share the stage with you too, because I've grown up with your voice all through my childhood. And I don't know how many people in the audience know this, or if how aware of it that you are as well, but there is a Philadelphia Transformers connection. In that the second live-action movie, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, was filmed here in Philadelphia. There were a number of scenes that were filmed here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And in that honor, I get to say that I'm actually in a movie with you.
That's great.
Because I am in 2 scenes of that film, so I actually get to say that you can't see me, it's all right. I'm like very, very background. But I'm there, I'm in the movie. So yeah, your voice has been a part of my childhood as well as everybody else in here, and it's just an honor to be on stage with you right now. So
Thank you.
I just wanted to kick off with that. You know, the voice of Optimus Prime is so synonymous, everybody recognizes it, and I'm sure you've told the story before. But for those people that are in the audience right now who may not have heard the story, how did the voice of Optimus come about? How was it developed, and how did you hone it in as you went in over the years to portray this character?
You know, it's a story that I've told. It's not a story, it's truth. I've told several times, and I'm quite astounded by the reaction that it's had, because to me it was just a reality. It was a moment of truth, and it was a discovery and an apparition all at the same time. I was going through a period of my life, wasn't a very pleasant one, and my brother Larry had returned from Vietnam, and years earlier I had moved down to California from Montreal, Canada, where I was born. And as time went on, I found myself living with my brother Larry in an apartment in Burbank, California. And so we had one car. And this was back in 1983, I would think. And I said, Larry, I have to borrow the car. He said, Peter, where are you going? I said, well, Larry, I'm going to an audition. Oh, another one, huh? I said, yeah, I'm going to be a truck. He said, you're going to be a truck, Peter? I said, yeah. He said, what does a truck sound like? I said, no, well, he's going to be a hero truck. And he went with a smile, and he went, well, Peter, if you're going to be a hero, be a real hero. His voice just went into this barrel, and his face just became straight, and he said, don't be a Hollywood hero. If you're going to be a hero, be a real hero. Don't go yelling and pretending you're tough. Here's a Marine talking, a Bronze Star with V from Vietnam, became a captain after his lieutenant tenure, and then his face just kind of said to me, Peter, be strong enough to be gentle. And he just gave me that whole sense of what Optimus Prime was going to be right then and there. I went to the audition, And the material was there. I saw the illustrations of what Optimus Prime was. It was a truck, and then it transformed into this body, and then back into that Kenwood and with the tractor trailer, you know. And so I was saying, okay, this is a huge character. He's big and he's strong and all that stuff. And I said, kids are gonna love this, you know. So I read the script, and I could have just been, these could have been the words. The words were, my name is Optimus Prime from the planet Cybertron, you know. It just flowed out of me, and I could very well have said, my name is Larry Cullen, United States Marine Corps, you know. But that's the voice that came out of me, and it was Larry, and those distinctive words that applied to every script that we did was be strong enough to be gentle. And that's carried me all the way through since 1984. Until 1986 when they, you're out of here, Cullen, you're out of here.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I mean, for some people, I mean, especially myself, you know, 1986, we're talking, I'm a 6 or 7-year-old boy sitting at home watching these, and the death of Optimus Prime is the first, I know for me and maybe for some others, it really was the first instance of that for some young people, and it's this memory that sticks with us when we remember how emotional we got at the death of Optimus. What was your initial impression of that? I mean, obviously, I don't know if you would be happy that they killed off a character that you were portraying.
Well, you know, there was a lot of confusion from my end, because I'm looking at the script and the movie with Frank Welker, and Frank and I are good friends, you know, and we're sitting next to each other, and I get to the page, whatever it was on, and I said, Frank, what page are you on? He says, I said, I'm on page 17, I'm getting whacked. Boy, I mean, this is it. He said, what do you mean? He says, I've got a death scene here. I'm doing a death scene, and he's not coming back. So I felt like hell. I mean, it was really a pretty sick feeling. I said, you know, inside, you know, you take it on yourself and you say, what did I do? What did I do wrong? I mean, who did I piss off? You know, what the hell? You know, I mean,
yeah.
It was a rotten feeling, and I didn't bother with it. You know, I just said, that's it. It's over with. I should get on with your life. You know, I left that and just went on to the other jobs and just put it out of my mind until they called me to do the feature film, and years later. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I believe it was, if my math is correct, maybe a good 20 years between the time that the animated series had ended and the live action film.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Had come around. What was your reaction when you found out that they wanted you back to portray?
Well, I had to audition.
Oh, did you? You actually had to audition for the role of Optimus Prime?
I have had to audition for the character I created. I thought it was so strange. You know, but Hollywood's Hollywood, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, that you would have to audition for a character that you brought to life.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, again, it had been 20 years, but thankfully, I know I'm sure other people would agree with me. You got the job.
Yeah, I did.
And you came back and you got to portray that character.
Yeah,
again.
I felt really nervous about it too. I didn't have that old confidence I used to have when I was doing the series with the guys. You know, we had a great time. It was always fun. You know, we always had something going on in the booth, you know, where we recorded. And of course, Frank Welker, he would always supply something strange surprisingly funny always. I mean, it wouldn't, if you were reading a line and you'd hear, like a faucet dripping. I can't do it the way he does it. But you go, and that producer or director would be saying, can we get some order back in there? Can we get going? Could we do that line again? Let's see, this is line 54, take 3. Little drips. Or you do an electric motor or an elevator from behind the wall. We had so much fun doing that.
Back then in the 80s when you guys were recording the series as opposed to what they do now where you are usually alone in a studio, back then in the 80s, were there many of you in the booth at the same time?
Yeah, there'd be probably about 12 of us.
All recording together?
Yeah, we'd all be in a line, and then we'd be looking straight towards the glass barrier between us where the producer, directors, and other people sat listening to our madness.
I think that's where a lot of the magic is lost nowadays sometimes, is because it is an individual performance now where you listen to the recording of somebody else and you kind of interact with that. But with having everybody in the room together, it's very easy to feed off of one another to bring the characters more to life.
I don't think that's changed very much. I think we still, although I haven't done one for a while, in the movies I worked alone. Mm-hmm. I would work with Michael Bay, and in this last one, the Rise of the Beast. This is with Stephen Cappell, and he's a fantastic young director that I just got along with so well. What a brain! You're going to like this movie, folks.
I'm excited. I know you can't talk too much about it because the movie hasn't released yet, but I'm actually excited. I'm getting to go to a screening of it on Monday, so I'm going to be seeing it within the next 2 days, and I'm really excited about that.
Monday?
This coming Monday, I'm going to a screening. That's the
premiere. I mean, that's the. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I get to see it about a little less than a week early. So
I'm going to it too, but it's in New York.
Oh, now mine's here in Philly.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
Mine's in town.
Mine's in New York.
Do you want to switch?
Oh, no.
Okay. No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. If anybody in the audience does have questions for Peter, we're going to try and get through a couple of them. I don't know how many we're going to get through as we go through. But before we get to that, over the years, there have been different versions and iterations of Transformers in which you've reprised Optimus, obviously. And usually there are kind of variations of the series itself. Are there any, dominant traits of Optimus that you always make sure, with the exception of obviously leadership and such, that you want to make sure these are traits you want to make sure you carry over to the next iteration or the next project of Transformers?
Well, it all depends upon what's written in front of me. I don't have much control over what to say, and sometimes I have to say things that I don't want to say, and I've only had that a couple of times, and I lost. There was one line in the movie where I said, "I'll kill them all." That's not Optimus Prime. But I was forced to say it, and under the circumstances, I think it may have raised a few eyebrows, but in the long run, it was understood that it was a very sick Prime. He had a bad cold. Oh, goodness.
All right, let's see if maybe we can get in a couple of these questions. Over here, your name and your question.
My name is Kyle, and huge Transformers fan. But you also, I believe, did the opening narration for another cartoon I was very, very fond of, Voltron. Do you recall that?
Oh. Defender of the universe. Gosh, you guys, you remember all of this stuff? Wow. Commander Hawkins.
So how did that come about, and do you remember the narration? Could you give us a little?
How did the job of narrating for Voltron come about? And do you remember what the narration was?
No, I don't. I'm old, I forget. Jeez. I don't really. I'm quite surprised that you would bring that up, considering this is an Optimus Prime moment. Voltron, defender of the universe. I don't.
Well, we love all your roles.
Right over my head, half that stuff. I didn't understand what it was all about anyway. Well, I never got to see the whole show, and I only read my lines, and who knows what that was all about. So.
Well, then, if you want an Optimus Prime question, so after you died in the movie, you actually did come back in the third season. They had Dark Awakening and then the Return of Optimus Prime. How did it feel when you got that call, we need you back?
The movie?
After the animated movie, you came back in season 3.
For 2 shows.
Yeah, for a few episodes.
Yeah, a couple of episodes. Well, I learned years and years later that I was brought back because mothers in America and Canada were so upset by the activities of their children, hiding under the bed, hiding in closets. They wouldn't come out. They would be so afraid. It affected them. And I was stunned to hear that. I had no idea that there were a lot of children that were affected by that. And so I did have to come back for those few shows to appease that whole thing, which I thought was rather strange, That's Hollywood. You never get your hopes up on anything because you never know how long something's going to last. And you just work your craft and you work it hard. Never give up, never give in, just plod along. And sometimes you get lucky. And you got lucky because years later I discovered that a lot of kids had grown up and they were talking about a feature film and they started getting on, and the internet, of course. And they started talking about me, and I wasn't paying particular attention to the internet because I didn't have a computer, and what's all that stuff about, But anyway, I still had a dial phone, for crying out loud. Hello? Yeah, hi. This is Peter. Oh, yeah. Telephones. So, but the internet had so much going for it, for my inclusion into that, that they eventually, said, okay, let's get them. Okay, or whatever they do. And anyway, I went to the audition with Michael Bay, and I said, I was very nervous. I was really nervous. And I was also, they were auditioning for Ironhide. And so there was a scene, and there was a girl reading Ironhide, and then Optimus Prime. Michael Bay is sitting here, the girl is sitting here, somebody's sitting there, I'm sitting here. And she started reading Ironhide. She said, well, whatever the line was. And I said, here, let me take that. I do Ironhide. Oh, come on, Prime. Let's kick some butt. And whatever the line was, not now, Ironhide. Relax, cool it. We'll get them on our own time. Oh, I want to do it now, Prime, no. And Michael Bay sitting there going, did I hear that? Was that? Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough. And the girl was sitting there going, she's looking straight up at me like this. It was bizarre. I was nervous, who knows? You just give it your shot, give it everything you have. And you walk away, you're getting into your car and you're saying, what am I doing here? I just auditioned for Ironhide and Optimus Prime.
That
All right,
had to get you the job, though. Just portraying both of those for Michael Bay and just seeing him drop-jawed.
Well, I don't know if he dropped. I made that up. Sorry, Michael, if you're out there.
I buy it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
all right, thanks for your question. Let's go over to this side here. What's your name and your question?
Hi, my name is Benson. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. Cullen, for coming out to visit us here in Philly.
Thank you.
I've been a huge G1 Optimus Prime fan since I was a kid. I really enjoyed the nobility of the character and how strong he was. And then once they went ahead and took him out, I was done with Transformers. But then, when they went ahead and came out with the series Transformers Prime, and then he voiced the character, got a chance to voice the character again, that was the time that felt me like, oh, I wish this is how it went originally when they did the character.
Did you enjoy that show?
Absolutely.
You know, I had fun doing it. I mean, you know, we don't, you know, the original show, we didn't have many girls in. You know, and this one we had a few girls. It was kind of fun, you know. Yeah. And they were great people. I mean, really wonderful people. And to be, you know, teamed up with Frank Welker again, you know, it was just heaven, you know. I'm sorry it went away. I guess, you know, that's Hollywood. Yeah.
My two questions are, what was your experience doing the G1 Optimus Prime versus the Transformers Prime version of him? Like how you approached the character? And what was your experience also like versus when you were doing G1 Optimus Prime, like doing the recordings and everything versus how they did it in Transformers Prime? It kind of felt like the character, like it was great for me when I was a kid, and then Transformers Prime, it even felt like the character grew up also for like an older audience as well as like younger audience as well too.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I think Prime is Prime. You know, the essential qualities of Prime remain. They're so embedded in, you know, my brother Larry, and of course the writers and the scenario, whatever it may be, always seem to remain true. And if it wasn't true, I would try to make it true. But I don't remember having any difficulty or memories of any of those instances where it was a problem or a dilemma of any kind. It was always natural. Prime seemed to be the epitome of a great hero, and those traits are inherently strong and, you know, forever. You know, they stay with the power of good leadership. You know, that way. I was very lucky, very lucky.
Optimus has always been Optimus, no matter what project that he has been a part of, whatever iteration of Transformers we get, the Optimus has always been the leader that we've always loved, and we ourselves would follow if we were in the situation to do so.
Yeah.
So the characteristics have always carried over. But thanks for your question.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to this side here. What's your name and your question?
Hello, Mr. Cullen. My name's Greg. As you mentioned earlier, you also voiced one of my favorite Autobots, Ironhide. I was wondering, which is the more difficult role to play, Optimus or Ironhide?
Oh, no. Well, you know what? During production back in those days, Frank would often have to talk to himself, you know, as another character. I did on several occasions, and it was fun. It was really fun. I gave you a little taste of that earlier, but we were a little more polished back in those days, you know, because you had a script in front of you. You didn't have to ad-lib it, you know. but it's interesting. Yeah, a lot of us had to do, scenes with a conversation between themselves, and it's kind of fun. You end up having to do it over, though, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll switch back over to the side. Your name and your question.
Hi, Peter. My name is Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
I grew up with you since I was about 6, 7 years old, and I made it a point for me and my brother to not miss a single episode of Transformers. And even with Transformers Prime, I had my twin nephews watching that, and they really enjoy the show. My question is, with every script that you've read and performed, which script do you believe was the most challenging script that you performed?
So of any script that you got, whether it be of any G1, Transformers Prime, which script do you think was maybe the most challenging to perform?
Well, that's a good question. Oddly enough, every script that you get is a challenge. But some scripts aren't as good as others, and you don't have any control over that. And some have more action than others, and some have more messages than others. Generally speaking, I don't think we ever concentrated on that as a problem or as an issue of any kind. We read our scripts, and sometimes we only read them once, and then we were taping, and sometimes they taped before we even read it. No, maybe not. I don't remember. That's so long ago. I can't remember any problems with that. But then there's a lot of things I can't remember anyway. Oh, sorry. Jeez. Did that help? I love you, man. That's good. Okay.
Thanks a lot for your question. We got a couple minutes to get in, maybe one or two more before we're going to start to wrap things up. So we'll go over this side. What's your name and your question?
Hi there, Mr. Cullen. My name is Ilya, and of course, like many others here, I grew up with you, not just as the voice of Optimus, but also the narrator on Toonami. So I remember your narration for shows like Gundam Wing. And, you've just been around so often, you've inspired at least one generation to dream and imagine about the future and about how technology can beneficially interact with humanity and so on. And I'm thinking the world has changed so much since you first started. So what excites you most about the way the world is changing, especially with respect to technology, and what also concerns you the most?
That's a very detailed question.
Of course, why not ask it to Optimus Prime himself?
You're doing that on purpose, aren't you? You just want to lay me out there.
No, not at all.
Okay. The simple version of that question comes down to what?
So, what makes you most excited about the future? What are you most optimistic about, no pun intended, with regards to,
In regards to anything, or specifically technology, or?
Anything really,
So basically just what gets you excited for the future? What about the future gets you, are you interested in, or to maybe learn more about? Just something that gets you excited.
Well, I got a call from the executive producer from Paramount Pictures, and talked to me on the phone. He said, Peter, I just want to tell you that we're going to be doing more features, and I want you to know that you are going to be Optimus Prime for as long as you want to be Optimus Prime. I was very happy about that myself. I really was. Oh, God. But then there was a flip side to the coin. He said there was the animated shows that we're going to do, we're going to be using a younger Prime, and which made sense, He said, but the features, you are going to be Optimus Prime. But for the TV series and all that other stuff, and whatever they call them, Zooms and whatever those words are, fancy words for, doesn't cost a dime. We get these things done for nothing, you know. We just put them on stream, put them over here, you know, get the writers to strike and do all that stuff. So we'll be doing animated and using a younger person. I said, well, that makes perfect sense to me. You know, here's a guy that's going to be training, you know, the way I trained you guys when you were 6 years old. You know, that's a long time ago. And I could understand that. But see what comes what may, you know. I look forward positively, and I look forward to whatever they're going to do in the future, but live for the present. And I'm going to tell you this honestly, because I love you guys and girls. You know,
we love you, Peter. Thank you for being Optimus.
Thanks. I feel the way about you guys, and I hope that I'm around for a long time to do more features, and because I have it in me, and I don't want to not do it. I really want to do it, so it gives me a real incentive to be with you guys. Yeah, you warm my heart, and I think you're the greatest group of people everywhere we go. I mean, you're just the same. You're just wonderful people, and I love you for that. I do.
We're coming to the end, so I apologize for anybody whose question didn't get asked, but I really, personally, I don't really think we could have ended this panel any better than that. Before we let you go, I just want to tell you, and I'm sure I speak for everybody in this room, you have been and will always be Optimus Prime to each and every one of us. And before we get out of here and I let you say goodbye, any way we can just wrap this panel up with an Autobots rollout.
Hold on to your dreams. The future is built on dreams. One shall stand, one shall fall. Peace is the right of all sentient beings. Autobots, transform and roll out!